Should there be crossover between Fortnite on PlayStation 4 and the Nintendo Switch? This is what Sony's in the news for right now, and quite honestly, they're never in the bad spotlight. You know, that is kind of reserved for EA and Activision, especially lately. So for Sony to be in the spotlight right now for some derogatory news, I think a lot of people have some really stark opinions. Especially when that game is Fortnite, because as we all know, Fortnite is probably the most popular game right now on the planet. Just for the record, crossplay is something in this industry that people do not want to talk about. It's a very, very tender subject, and it is highly sensitive. I mean, you go back just a few years, and you wouldn't even think about crossplay. It wouldn't have even been on the table for discussion. Crossplay is an incredibly controversial and new development that game publishers out there do not want to talk about. By its definition, crossplay is great for gamers, but it's really not that good for publishers. With crossplay, gamers can play a single game with a single account on multiple consoles, which of course creates a big problem. And that is that gamers swap between consoles. So of course, why would Sony want you to put their version down in favor of the Nintendo Switch? That's basically dropping their player base on their system. So in the eyes of a publisher, crossplay is kind of the enemy. Since the beginning of time, this industry has been built off competition, so enabling crossplay is basically a helping hand to your competitors, and that's not a good thing if you're a suit and tie professional working for, let's say, Microsoft, or in this case, Sony. Sony has been the company that has faced more criticism than any other company for blocking crossplay in multiple titles in the past, not just Fortnite. They have done this with Minecraft, Rocket League, and so many other games. Sony is absolutely steadfast in their opinion that crossplay is the devil. But for you and me and the rest of the gaming populace, crossplay is a great integration and something that should have been introduced a long time ago so that we could play with more players than just players on our console, so that we can have the benefits of multiple consoles, so that we could build friendships among more people than just players on our system, and so we could take advantage of each console in its best light. There's a lot of merit to playing a single game on multiple consoles, and there's even more merit to playing a Sony game and then switching to a Nintendo Switch version, especially because you can take that Nintendo Switch on the go, and especially in a game where you play for long periods of time to get lots of stuff. Fortnite is all about progression and looking cool and earning really cool stuff for your character, so without crossplay, you basically are prevented from using in-game items and outfits and purchases and rewards that you have accrued through playing the game among both versions. As it stands right now, without crossplay, you gotta earn everything on the PlayStation 4, and then if you wanna play on Nintendo Switch on the go, you gotta earn all that stuff once again. Is that a great system for gamers? Definitely not. Why this issue has blown up so much is because there was no limitation for crossplay between the Xbox One and the Nintendo Switch. So yeah, you can actually play on the Xbox One and then switch to the Nintendo Switch and then carry over everything between those two versions. So why the heck is Sony blocking crossplay when Microsoft is, you know what, okay with it? And it's not the fact that Sony is blocking just the Nintendo Switch crossplay. They're also blocking crossplay between Microsoft as well. So Sony's like, you know what, peace out, no crossplay whatsoever. We don't care about multi-console integration. We don't want it, get it out of here. This doesn't surprise me because Sony has always been really resistant towards crossplay. But honestly, it just makes sense because the Nintendo Switch is really a second games machine at this point because you can go mobile. You can play it away from the home, so it just makes sense to be able to have one Fortnite account and play it on multiple systems, mobile and in front of the TV. In response to this entire situation, Sony did reply to the gaming world saying, "We're always open to hearing what the PlayStation community is interested in to enhance their gaming experience. With more than 80 million active users on the PlayStation Network, we've built a huge community of gamers who can play together on Fortnite and all online titles. We also offer Fortnite crossplay with PC, Mac, iOS, and Android devices, expanding the opportunity for Fortnite fans on PlayStation 4 to play with even more gamers on other platforms. We have nothing further to add beyond this at this point." So yes, many gamers out there are very annoyed that Sony is basically holding their accounts hostage because they don't want them to play with other players on the Nintendo Switch and the Microsoft Xbox One. You can't blame those players because as technology has evolved and online gaming has evolved the last few years, we're really in a great opportunity in this industry to kind of expand our horizons, share a lot more, experience things a lot more with other gamers, and to kind of limit this technology just because it's not making sense for the business aspect of the company. It just seems a little bit selfish and a little bit self-righteous as well. It's also a little bit ironic that Sony's motto is "for the player," when in fact this is literally the opposite of "for the player." In an age where not all gamers own a PlayStation 4 and many gamers out there have friends who play different consoles, crossplay just makes sense in today's market. Of course, it doesn't make sense from a business perspective 100% because you're kind of helping your competition, and Sony sees it that way, although that's not really true as we know it. It does make sense from a gamer's perspective, and I think this day and age where there's so much controversy and bad business going on, especially with our friends EA and all the other big companies out there, it would be nice for a company whose motto is "for the player" to actually integrate features that are for the player. But no matter how you look at it, not having crossplay basically means that it makes it harder for us to play games with our friends today in 2018. So while I can understand that Sony can probably make a case for crossplay not being good for their company, it is good for their gamers, and that is a distinction that they have not realized yet. I'm kind of wondering if this all stems from the fact that Sony believes that the PC is not their competition and that the console market is, since they're blocking crossplay just from the consoles themselves. If Sony believes this to be true, then you can assume that they don't feel like the PC is their direct competition, and if you really think about it, they might think that they cannot compete with what the PC has to offer, and hence they will allow crossplay between Fortnite on the PlayStation 4 and the PC. That might make sense from a price standpoint because the PlayStation 4, the Xbox One, and the Nintendo Switch, they all cost around the same amount of money, whereas a PC, a competitive PC that is, can cost upwards of 3 to 4 times more than a PlayStation 4. So, are they similar products in the eyes of Sony? Maybe not, the PlayStation 4 and the PC. And that might make sense in terms of functionality because PCs are a workstation and a gaming system all in one, whereas a gaming console is just there for games. So those may be the two factors that Sony's looking at when deciding who to enable crossplay with. If you really think about it, a PC and a console are actually complementary to one another rather than substitute products. And in that fashion, the PlayStation 4 is not in competition with the PC, it is more in competition with an Xbox One or a Nintendo Switch, because those two consoles are absolute substitute products. And if you've ever taken a basic economics course, substitute products compete with one another because if a person does not have enough money to buy both products, they must substitute one with the other by making a choice. So in this regard, this does make sense. But that only makes sense from the business side, and as we know, the other side is gamers and we matter too. We matter just as much. It's my hope that this issue gains a lot of traction and that people keep speaking out about it. This is why I'm making this video, because I think crossplay and the integration of crossplay between multiple consoles is a great thing for gamers, and I hope you guys can help me share this video around, help me comment on it, like it, and just get it spread around, because this is a very, very important subject in our industry, because this is the evolution of multiplayer and shared multiplayer in 2018 and going forward into the future. I want to have lots of new experiences in multiplayer games with lots of new players from every system out there and share worlds and share dreams and gameplay experiences with everybody. And I don't want to be restricted to just one system just because Sony wants to make a few more dollars this year. So guys, let me know what you think. Of course, I did not cover everything here. There's a lot more to talk about, so maybe we can continue the discussion down below in the comment section. I truly hope you guys are having an amazing day, and if you enjoyed the video, go ahead and thumbs it up and subscribe here for more of our future content, because we got lots of cool stuff coming in the near future. And just a heads up, I've got an Assassin's Creed video that's going to be popping off, I think maybe tomorrow or the next day, depending on when I finish it. So peace, love, and happiness until then, and go out and have yourself a kick-ass day.